From the Opelka Studios in Oklahoma City, you're watching the Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Barry Trammell. Time for 5 and 5, 5 topics. Let's get right to it. Barry, finish this sentence. College football's new targeting rule is?
This. That's the sign. That's the sign for the new targeting rule.
Does that mean it's a head knocker
if
too?
You see that, folks, you know it's serious business. Somebody's going out of the game. College football's new targeting rule is appropriate, I think. I mean, Walt Anderson, director of Big 12 officials, said it best. He said, we've got to do something about the game or somebody's going to do it for us. Yep. And it's a lot better if football people get in front of this and try to affect change and get out of the head-hunting mentality that afflicts the game. Too many people getting, it's not just catastrophic injury. It's the long-term effects of head injuries. And that's what the goal is to reduce those. So there's going to be some growing pains, but I think the rule's in good hands. I think the officials have a good grasp of what they should call, what they shouldn't. When they look at it on replay, what should be overturned, I think it's going to be okay.
I think the new college football targeting rule is going to create controversy. I've watched the Jadeveon Clowney hit from last year in the bowl game, and I'm telling you, folks, that is going to be ruled targeting. He led with the crown of his head, and that's one of the things that regardless of where you hit somebody, if you lead with the top of your head and your eyes are looking down at the ground, that's called targeting. And from what I've seen, he would have been ejected by that under this year's rules. Stuff like that people look at and say, that's just a good, clean hit, are now going to be ruled illegal because of the way a guy's hit. It's going to create controversy. I agree with you, Barry. I think it is noble that college football is setting up something to try to protect players. I think they should. But it's still going to create controversy because it's controversial by nature. All right, what about this, Barry? 5 years from now, will we have a new division in college football?
I think the answer is yes, and by new, I'm not sure an additional one, maybe an additional one, but I think it will be different. We'll either have a new one or we will have a reduced Division 1A. 120 now going up towards 125 in the biggest division is not workable. When New Mexico State and Ohio State are in the same division, when
Texas and Texas State,
San Marcos and Austin, about 30 miles apart and about $140 million in budget apart, doesn't work. And too many people without big stakes financially, telling the big boys how to vote, or not how to vote, but overvoting them. I don't think it's lastable. I think it's going to have to be changed. All 5 conference commissioners have come out and said something's got to give. So I think we're going to see some change, maybe a new division, but maybe just a revamping where it's much tougher to stay in Division 1.
Yeah, I think something's happening here. And I'm not sure exactly what it looks like either, but you can sense that the movement is there, that this isn't just talk, this isn't just rhetoric out there. This is actual movement towards something different and new. I don't think these schools want to leave the NCAA. I think that obviously there's problems with the NCAA and enforcement and those sorts of things, but really the biggest thing is trying to figure out how to legislate and have football competition that makes sense. And right now, you don't see it around Division 1A. It just doesn't happen all the time, so something's got to change. All right, Barry, what about this question? The New Year's Six. This is the new name for college football's playoffs and the semifinals. You okay with that nickname?
I like it. I mean, basically, it replaces the BCS. I think it's sort of catchy because, they're wanting to market those 3 games on New Year's Eve, the 3 games on New Year's Day, make those into special events. I sort of like it. And we've gotten away from the New Year's aspect of this with BCS bowls going 2nd, 3rd, 4th. And it's kind of a little bit off the tradition of New Year's Day. I think the efforts to get it back are good. I think it helps the bowls. I think it helps fans. And marketing it as the New Year Six, I think it's okay. It's certainly better than BCS.
And certainly better than college football playoff. I mean, we knew something was going to happen there to change how this whole thing was marketed. But it's interesting that they're getting back to the tradition of New Year's games with a most untraditional move to the college football playoff. I think the irony is there, but I do love New Year's Eve and New Year's Day games. I think it's fantastic. I remember as a kid, New Year's Day games being a highlight, so I'm glad that we're getting back to that. New Year's 6, fine with me. All right, Barry, our fun question of the week, besides us, of course, who is most excited for college football season to get going?
Well, I think it's the merchants. If you live or work or are around a college town, the summer gets sort of sleepy. And, I live in Norman. Norman's become big enough that it really isn't a ghost town in the summer. But you can tell a big difference when the students are gone. When the students come back, things pick up. And then on Saturdays, it really gets exciting. And, I just think the revelry and the pageantry and the energy that goes with a college football game in Stillwater or Norman or Lubbock or Lawrence, it doesn't matter. It energizes a place, and I think the merchants are going to be thrilled that football is back in business.
You took a big group of people. I'm going to go with one guy that I think there can't be anybody more excited about the start of the season than this guy. Johnny Manziel. Is there anybody else that's had a rougher offseason than Johnny Manziel? Yeah. Well, probably.
Bob Stoops, maybe?
But Johnny Manziel's had a tough offseason, a lot of it by his own making. Maybe Kevin Sumlin will do like he did last year and make him off limits to the media and he can just play. That might be the best thing that's happened to Johnny Manziel in a long time. All right, lastly, Barry, true, false. Nick Saban has a point about these up-tempo offenses and that they might not be good for college football.
Well, true in this sense. I think the up-tempo offenses do tend to cause more injuries for this reason. Not because they create fatigue, but because you just play so many more plays. Yeah. Instead of 70, you got 90 per team. Instead of
or 110.
But instead of 142 snaps in the game, you got 180 something snaps. 40 more plays for somebody to get hurt, more kickoffs, more everything. In that regard, yes, I think he does. More football means more injuries. However, the up-tempo nature doesn't necessarily cause injuries in and of itself. I think a lot of the old-fashioned slobber-knocking football, where everybody's in a big pile playing rugby. Guys getting chop blocked, hurt at the knees. That wasn't a picnic either. So I'm not all the way with him, but he does have a semblance of a point.
Increased opportunity for injury. I think that is true. It's true if you go out and practice and do a bunch of hitting, that increases your opportunities for injury. So there's a lot of things that create opportunity for injury in football. And obviously, up-tempo offenses with more plays is part of it. But to me, it felt like Nick Saban was trying to talk about legislating out these up-tempo offenses. And to me, that's just laughable because, his team may not go that way. That's cool. But this is the way it's going. And it's not just college football. We're seeing it now in the NFL. And if the NFL likes it, it's only going to get more popular in the colleges, and it's only going to get more popular in the high schools. Up-tempo offenses are here to stay. Hey, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.